Hi there, Musitrature Recaps here. Today, I've got a movie breakdown for you, Marquise. This film follows a theater troupe that rolls into a small town to make some extra cash. While the guys are setting up, the actresses befriend a clever young girl who not only guides them to the restroom but also seizes opportunities to earn by selling her local knowledge to women and letting boys catch glimpses of grown women for a fee, enjoying their admiration. Meanwhile, the adventurous comic playwright, Moliere, who leads the theater group, decides to explore the town with his friend, the talented actor Reen. They stumble upon a performance starting in a courtyard. A captivating girl takes the stage, dancing before a captivated audience. Rain begins to fall, and everyone dashes for cover, thinking it's a divine punishment due to the girl being seen as the devil's messenger. Moliere and Reen remain transfixed on stage, seemingly immune to the rain's impact. After the show, the friends debate who'll be the first to approach the enchanting dancer. Reen wins the chance by being the first to spot her. The Marquise's father is vigilant, allowing only those willing to pay to approach her. After a clash with her father, Reen sneaks into her room and witnesses her intimate encounter with a paying gentleman. Despite her initial wariness, Marquise is intrigued by Reen's advances, thanks to her alluring movements that exert a magnetic pull on him. Smitten, he vows to make her a star and offers her the Grand Paris stage. The Marquise, who longs to be an actress, agrees to marry the theater actor. Reen introduces her to his colleagues and fellow actresses, marking the start of their intertwined fates. While all of this unfolds, Moliere comes across a man who can provide the necessary approval for his friend's marriage and brings him onto the stage. Just then, the girl's father emerges, withholding consent for her union with an outsider. Paradoxically, he's willing to part with his daughter for a handsome reward, demanding 1,000 coins. Moliere employs his negotiation skills and haggles the price down to a mere 30 coins. This successful exchange seals the legitimacy of Reen and the girl's relationship. From that point onward, the dancer is known as Marquis Dupark. A couple of days later, the theater troupe moves on to the next city, seeking to earn more money. During a performance, Marquise steps onto the stage to deliver her lines, yet her nerves get the best of her, causing her to forget her words. Moliere does his best to assist her, but the grip of stage fright proves stronger than her aspirations of becoming an actress. Observing this, Reen steps in and aids his wife in rescuing the performance. Fearing her acting career might end before it even begins, Marquise is deeply distressed and finds solace only in her husband's embrace. Before long, the troupe arrives in Paris, where they showcase their talents before the brother of Louis-Philippe d'Orléans. At a certain point, all the actors exit the stage to prepare for the next act. To keep the audience engaged and prevent them from leaving out of boredom, Moliere calls upon Marquise, urging her to perform her enchanting dance. Initially, the crowd responds with indifference, discussing their mundane matters and concerns. But within moments, they realize they're not merely witnessing a girl entertaining them, but a true talent whose movements hold them captive. The king's brother and the young playwright Reen are just as enthralled as the rest of the audience, erupting into applause. The female members of the theater troupe look on with envy, recognizing that Marquise has effortlessly stolen the spotlight from them. Reen becomes smitten with the dancer the moment he lays eyes on her, and his spirits plummet upon discovering her marriage to Reen. Following the introduction, the king's brother directs his attention to Moliere and Marquise. With Louis's birthday just 8 days away, Philip aims to present his dance-loving brother with a unique gift. Although uninterested in the theater troupe's overall performance, he's willing to generously compensate for the Marquise to perform for the king. Not daring to decline, Moliere acquiesces to Philip's proposal. Recognizing the imperfections in his performances, the playwright remains in the theater late into the night, tirelessly crafting future productions with meticulous consideration. Meanwhile, Marquise makes the decision to visit Moliere, imploring him for a role in the upcoming play. She yearns to transition from dancer to actress. Initially declining her request, Moliere is met with Marquise's unwavering persistence. In a bold and intimate act, she raises her dress before him and engages in a passionate encounter, hoping to sway his perspective. The following morning, during rehearsals, Moliere assigns roles, giving Marquise a wordless part. This decision infuriates her, as she aspires for more than mere dancing. Feeling unrecognized for her creative potential, Marquise flees. Meanwhile, Reen, engaged in social activities with high society ladies, spots the tearful Marquise headed towards a bridge. Her intention seems to be leaping off, prompting him to intervene. Reen offers his assistance, though he dissuades her from such a dire action. He emphasizes the importance of enduring setbacks and making compromises to fulfill the wishes of those who hold power over one's destiny. He underscores the idea that life can be unjust, yet one must navigate it with resilience. Later that evening, the theater troupe rehearses their performance once more. A disagreement arises between Reen and Moliere regarding the latter's attitude towards René's wife. Their quarrel is interrupted by the return of Marquise, now willing to dance before the king. Louis, the king, is on the way, and the audience eagerly settles into their seats. Meanwhile, Marquise rushes to change her attire, preparing to grace the stage with her dance. As she begins her performance, the king himself joins her, utterly charmed. But, hold on tight, because here comes the twist. Marquise, in her haste, forgot to wear her pantaloons. The tension rises as Moliere, in a panic, contemplates fleeing the scene. The spinning wheel routine is about to reveal more than intended. Yet, Marquise works her magic, leaving Louis both astonished and pleasantly surprised by the unexpected view. In fact, the king credits Moliere for arousing his natural feelings and desires through Marquise's dance. The next day, Louis summons Moliere to his chambers, sharing the shocking news that their upcoming performance must be cancelled. The church finds the comedian's act offensive, and the king can't allow it. While Moliere suggests performing elsewhere, Louis has another idea. He urges Moliere to consider using a script by the aspiring playwright Reen, a dear friend of the king. In a dimly lit tavern that evening, Moliere breaks the news to the theater troupe. Their reaction is nothing short of fiery outrage. Comedians forced to play in a tragedy? Unthinkable. And then, a surprise guest joins the discussion, Reen himself, the very man who once saved Marquise from a hasty decision. Sparks fly as Marquise shows genuine sympathy for Reen, inquiring about a role for herself. But here's where things get juicy. Reen confesses his affection for the captivating Marquise and boldly promises her a leading role. Shock and disbelief ripple through the room. And as roles are assigned the following day, Marquise isn't pleased with Moliere's choices. A suggestion for the women to take on different roles ignites a fierce quarrel, leaving Marquise vulnerable and the actresses on the attack. Fast forward a few days, and Moliere, along with his troupe, takes the stage to perform a play. However, Marquise, sporting a black eye, is stuck in the audience, forced to watch. The tragedy put on by the comedians doesn't quite resonate with everyone, and to make matters worse, one of the actresses fumbles her lines. Marquise's presence ends up disrupting the performance, leading to a barrage of rotten apples thrown at the actors and an early exit from the stage. Reen, feeling sympathetic towards Marquise, steps in to save her from the wrath of her fellow actresses. In a secluded chamber, Reen imparts his wisdom to Marquise, emphasizing the importance of truly feeling her role and pouring her heart into her performance. Yet, in a rather uncomfortable moment, he makes unwanted advances towards her. Marquise, loyal to her husband Rene, firmly rejects Reen's advances. Speaking of Rene, he happens to overhear the conversation, relieved by Marquise's unwavering fidelity. The following day, Marquise receives an unexpected invitation to the royal palace, courtesy of Reen. However, her visit is met with disdain from the high society ladies, who openly criticize her for her scandalous dance sans underwear. Even the queen takes a jab at Marquise's appearance and manners. Feeling humiliated and mocked, Marquise flees, finding no solace even in Reen's kind words. But wait, there's a twist. Marquise later pays a visit to Reen, and he surprises her with a new script, offering her the lead role. While Reen sympathizes with Marquise, she reminds him of her marital commitment. However, she agrees to Reen's proposition on one condition, that she gets to play the coveted role. After her escapades, Marquise returns home and spends quality time with her husband, reassuring him that she's here to stay. However, things take an intriguing turn the following morning when Reen observes Moliere making script changes and compels Marquise to perform. This sparks a scandal between the men, leading Moliere to exit the stage in a huff. In a few days, Marquise and her spouse attend church to baptize Moliere's child. She urges her husband to stand by Reen's side, yet he remains loyal to his best friend. Later, Marquise reaches out to Reen, offering to spend the night with him, but he declines. His genuine love for her compels him to seek mutual feelings. To remove Renee from the picture, Reen purchases poison-laden chocolates from Lavoisier, striking a deal where a portion of his future income is promised to her. Visiting Renee, Reen discovers the actor is gravely ill. As Renee faces his impending departure, he implores Reen to care for his wife and love her as much as he did. A few days later, during a performance, Renee quietly passes away. The audience interprets it as part of the act, laughing and applauding, unaware of the truth. Despite Marquise's mourning, her housekeeper encourages her to embrace Reen's offer and become the star of his production. After some initial friction, Marquise starts rehearsing, but her interactions with the seasoned actor, Florida, prove challenging. Despite his valuable insights, she struggles to accept his feedback. Reen and Marquise spend the following days working through their differences, striving to find common ground in their relationship. In due course, Reen has an audience with the king who notes the presence of many beautiful women, including Marquise, but Reen insists that the others merely try to emulate her, falling short in comparison. After some time, Marquise takes on the lead role in a play, captivating the king and the audience. The king invites her to dance at a ball, showering her with compliments, which leaves Moliere feeling devastated. Unfortunately, tough times befall Moliere as his property is seized by the police, leading the actors to resort to stealing their own props to avoid confiscation. Despite facing criticism from the church for their performances, justice is eventually served, and the comedians find solace. Marquise is disappointed with her once esteemed teacher, Moliere, and stands by him during this challenging phase. Recognizing his struggle, she takes matters into her own hands and attempts to secure his meeting with the king. Making a daring promise to a guard, she gains access to Louis. Louis agrees to aid Moliere, but he shares an unsettling revelation: Reen was behind the poisoned chocolates meant for Moliere. Though willing to forgive the playwrights, Louis stipulates that they focus on their own plays for the theater. Following yet another impressive performance, Marquise's maid, Marie, expresses her admiration for Marquise's acting prowess and aspires to follow in her footsteps. Marquise, in turn, decides to help Marie by imparting her acting secrets. Meanwhile, Reen eavesdrops on their conversation and is gratified to witness Marquise's professional growth. As time goes on, Marquise falls ill once more, only to discover that she's pregnant. Despite her sickness, she keeps it a secret from Reen and insists on never giving up her lead role. The couple has an important meeting with King Louis, during which Marquise must recite a verse. However, Louis ends up in a fountain, making it hard for Marquise to be heard. Determined, she joins him in the water, leading to her falling ill due to the cold. To help her, Marie places cans on her back. With an evening performance ahead, Marquise puts on a brave face and takes the stage. But her condition worsens, and she faints during the show. Marie is the only one who knows Marquise's lines, prompting Reen to let her take over the role. 3 days later, Marquise regains consciousness and is cared for by Moliere. He shares the heart-wrenching news that she lost her role to Marie, Reen's newfound interest. Feeling her glory days slipping away, Marquise heads to the theater and witnesses Marie on stage, portraying her character. Overwhelmed, Marquise consumes poison chocolates and, with a heavy heart, steps onto the stage to deliver her final sensual monologue. She reveals her pregnancy to Reen and blames him for her downfall. Despite his love for Marquise, Reen's realization comes too late. Holding her close, Marquise passes away peacefully. Reen tenderly carries her off stage, met with applause from the audience for the last time. And with that, the movie comes to a poignant end. Thank you for watching.